Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tribal Trades, the daily show coming to you with a Bitcoin update. Wherever you are tuning in from around the world, I just want to welcome you to the channel, and it's so great to have you with us here today. I got asked a little bit in the Discord. I didn't put a video out yesterday. It was pretty rare for me, and I just had a pretty full scheduled day, and I just wasn't able to get one out. And so here I am, and I want to share some of these Bitcoin thoughts. I know that some of you were talking about Josh's video, which he posted yesterday, which I thought was a very good video, by the way. Certainly, I'll say this, that if you've got too much money in the market that you shouldn't have after watching Josh's video, if it made you feel uneasy, then you probably have too much money in the market. If you felt peace over it, then you're probably, that was a good test as to whether you're overextended or not, because there was definitely some very valid TA on a possible move to the downside that could play out. And I thought it was very well put together and very well communicated. So for Josh for coming out with that and giving some really good TA on where he feels Bitcoin could go in the month of July. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my thoughts on the Bitcoin market, and then we're going to go over some news and some macro stuff and some indicators and things. So let's just jump into the charts first of all. And if you haven't smashed the like, please do so. That helps get this content out to more people. Love reading the comments and the questions. I get back to those as soon as I am able to. And of course, if you're not in the Discord, I'm in the Discord every day. Wasn't in there a whole lot yesterday. That was probably my quietest day, but I did have a pretty big schedule. But I'm in there pretty constantly during the day in the crypto channel. And so you can sign up for that by going to www.stockswithjosh.com. The link is in the description below. And of course, if you haven't subscribed and you want to join this ever-growing community, please, you can do that by clicking on the subscribe. We're going to go into the charts here. And really, we've just got a continuation of what, obviously we have the minor capitulation. We still have that. We don't have the buy signal yet. So there could be some more downside. Look, I'm going to lay it out so simple to you. This is just going to be so simple. And this is just, see this blue moving average here. This is the 50-day moving average. It's currently sitting at 66,500. If Bitcoin is above that, I'm bullish on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is below that, bearish. Okay? We need to reclaim that. We need to reclaim that moving average. We lost it here. We came back above it. We've lost it again, and we need to come back up and retest. A retest is coming. There is a lot of people gone short, and there are a lot of money that's going to be liquidated, way more to the upside, to the downside. That does lean me. Now, the market makers may want to induce some more shorts, so the market may come down a little lower first. But I do think we're going to tag this again, and there's going to be a lot of shorts liquidated. We may not break through. We may get rejected to begin with. You can see we had a rejection here before we broke through here. You can see how we've come back and tested this line, and then we broke through it, and then we tested it, and we broke above it, back tested, and then we broke back down. So I think we've had one retest of that line. Did we come back and back test it? Looks like on this candle here. So I certainly think there is another opportunity coming to the upside. We're also in an order block here where trend line is holding, and the 200 EMA on the daily has not even been touched yet. So I'm not even going to be thinking of any more downside from where we are until, first of all, number one, we lose this trend line. You can see that this trend line has been rock solid. And if you've been following my channel, I drew this trend line before we got a lot of these touches. I drew it on this first touch here, and look what we had. Now, the more it touches, the more likely we are to lose that level. We lose this volume, this liquidity here, and come down. And then if we lose it, do we go back up right away, or do we come back and hit our heads on it? That's a sign for me now we're going to come down and retest the 200 EMA, maybe create a double bottom. Now, if we hold the 200 EMA on the daily, that's great. But if we lose that and go below it and begin to bang our heads on it, well, that's when I'm going to get a lot more bearish. So until we, reclaim the 50-day moving average on here at 66,500 or lose the 200 EMA on the daily, we're just continuing to range. Okay, we had this low over here at around 56.5. We're continuing to range. We do have another trend line that I've drawn in here as support that we could come down to test. But yeah, can we come down to here? Yeah, it's possible. Can we come down to back to 58 or back to test here again? That's certainly possible as well. And so that's what I'm looking for. So I'm not overly bearish. Short term, I'm bearish because we're below the 50-day moving average on the daily. But long term, I'm bullish because we're still holding above here. Now, if we lose here, then I'll do an update because it could get a bit scary. We could well come down. Just remember when we came down to test at 56 last time, the 200 EMA was down at 52. It's a moving average. So now this is up at around 58.5. So I could quite possibly think that we could come back and retest this and tag this again. More shorts get added, and then we go and push up and they get liquidated at 65. Currently, the liquidation levels were at 60, around the level we are now. So there are some longs that got liquidated right here at this level. But there are some shorts that will be liquidated, a small number of shorts will be liquidated around the $62,500 area, around this area here that will be liquidated. But there is a lot of liquidity above. In fact, there will be an enormous amount of shorts that will be liquidated, over leveraged shorts at around the 70s region, 72, 73. So just when we get there is the question. So as far as Bitcoin goes, that's what I'm seeing in the charts at the moment. And I haven't really changed my thesis or my thinking at all since I've been sharing these charts for the last month, since the channel went live in May. So let's look at some news and see what we have from the macro perspective, just kind of zooming out. The CME gap got filled. Okay, so CME gaps usually get filled. So it shouldn't be a surprise that we came down lower and the gap got filled. Okay, so that shouldn't be a surprise. I'm not really nervous about that. That gap got filled. Okay, as expected. Time to send. Yes, we hope, Titan of crypto, that you're right, and it is time to send. And you can see we're creating some higher lows here. And so if we were to come down and lose this here, then we're going to create a lower low, and then this market structure can change, and I'll do an update video. We've got here the Bitcoin daily MACD is crossing up. That's bullish. Okay, we're going to look here. The MACD on the daily is crossing up. Okay, we see that here. Now it might be a little fake out like we had here and then down. That's a possibility. But so far we've got a little green, and if it turns into this nice mountain here, we could see a little bit of a run up there as well. We also have a little bit of a bull flag that is showing as this loads, you can see. And so is it ready to be bullish for July? Remember, historically, July has been green. Now, we could come down more first before we finish July. Remember, it's when July closes. There's a lot can happen before that to get to green. But let's see what happens there with that. And so let's look at some more news that we have here before we wrap this up. You can now see that there's a bull flag that's been created. There's the pole and there's the flag. So as we can see in my own charts, I have a pretty similar thesis here, that to break up out to the upside at some point. Yes, we could get some more downside, no doubt. And for me, that's just another good buying opportunity. Like someone said in the Discord, they don't feel they're too heavily invested. That's just another buying opportunity for them. And I think they had a valid point with that. We've got the quarterly candle close as well, which came in the end of June. So we just didn't have a monthly close, but we also had a quarterly close. And it has retested an old major resistance as new support. So you can see here that we've come in with a quarterly candle close and there was resistance and we've retested support. For me, that's bullish. Okay. Here you can clearly see this is resistance, but over here now it is successfully retested. Now, if it breaks through here and we have a down July and we break through there, then sure, things change. I'll update the video. I'll be in the Discord talking in there about some changes and some different price targets. But right now, that's bullish for me, okay? By the way, okay? But there are a lot of buy orders on chain at 59, okay? At 59K. So that's quite solid right now. And that's why we've kind of come down into there and whatever. Now, if those buy orders get exhausted, sure, we can come down a little bit lower. There are a lot of sell orders, by the way, at 65K as well, just as an FYI. So put those, if you take notes like I do, put those down, put those levels down, super important. Have here, in a bull market, all we need to do is buy when short-term holders are selling their Bitcoin at a loss due to fear. Boom, that's happening now. Look at the other occasions that this happened. Off we went. And we had off we went, and again we are now short-term holders. Not only the miners capitulating, but the short-term holders have been selling and capitulating through fear, and generally that's been a good time to buy. Listen, I'm not selling Bitcoin when these indicators are all showing it's a good time to buy. Can it go lower? Sure. Now, if you are holding Bitcoin and it's money that you need and it shouldn't be invested and you're risking it, yeah, maybe that could be. You need to reevaluate your risk tolerance and so forth. But, you know, if this is part of your investment portfolio, for me, this is not a time to sell Bitcoin. It's time to accumulate Bitcoin. If it drops lower, I accumulate more in the market, okay? And I know there's a lot here, but there's a lot of fear in the market right now. And I want to share all the things that I know, and I want you to know these things as well, and then make your own decisions. Golden cross on the 2-month chart. So we've got the 21 EMAs crossing over the 20 simple moving average. The last 3 occurrences that sent Bitcoin much higher, okay? So you can see when this happened, boom, happened up, happened up, happened up. Doesn't mean that we can't come down a little bit more first or consolidate sideways for a little bit. But historically, this has been reliable. So let's see what shakes out with that. Also then have a potential cup and handle on the weekly time frame, and that's bullish. A cup and handle is very bullish. And so it's a very large cup, though. That's one of the smallest handle I've ever seen. But there you go. Let's see if that plays out and how that goes. We also have some Fed net liquidity here, where the biggest Fed net liquidity rate of change spike in 15 months. The last time that happened, Bitcoin rose 40% in 1 week. Not assuming a repeat, but you love to see it. Okay, so we see a big influx there in Fed net liquidity, and we see another big influx here. What's going to happen? It'll be very interesting to see. We've got one more here. Bitcoin's Coinbase price premium has fallen to deeply negative territory, which previously marked local bottoms in price, followed by a rally in the coming months. So you can see how that has dropped, and you can see that there's been, whenever there's been a drop here, there's been a rally, drop, and then a rally. So let's see if that is a reliable indicator for us. And just finishing off the news events, is the altcoins are the lowest that they've been in 3 years when you compare it to the others chart here, which I will bring. Where is it? There it is there. So others is essentially take out the top 10 from the altcoins and just the rest of the altcoin market against Bitcoin. So others against Bitcoin. And you can see there's a new bottoming process. So go to my cheat sheet, and I have a cheat sheet video, and there's a cheat sheet in the description below. Watch my latest cheat sheet update, which was, I think, within the last week I've done one. Please watch that, and I give a full breakdown of the cheat sheet. There are different levels in there. So, there are definitely time that altcoins can run. I don't certainly think that altcoins are done. I think there are some altcoins that are done and should be sold out of into stronger performing altcoins. Look, most of the altcoins have underperformed against the Bitcoin pairing in this cycle. Okay, most. And so the question is not about whether you should be in altcoins or not, but what altcoins you should be in. This is why I've done the cheat sheet. Some of those altcoins in the cheat sheet are pretty low down right now. And against the Bitcoin pairing, they're suffering heavy. If you wanted to, the ones that I would invest in from the cheat sheet are the ones that are stronger against the Bitcoin pairing. So what I would encourage you to do is go to the Bitcoin chart, go to the Bitcoin pairing. I'll just give you quickly one example here. I believe Ondo against Bitcoin is pretty good. And that's one that gets talked about a lot in the, that's Audi, Ondo Bitcoin. Yeah, so I mean, it's been relatively strong against Bitcoin, uptrend there, Ondo, and then Casper's another one that's been really good. So it's not about whether being altcoins or not. Look at Casper against Bitcoin. It smashed Bitcoin. If you were in Casper, you would be way better off being in Casper than in Bitcoin. Okay, so it's not about alts. Oh, my alt's down. There are some alts that are down and some alts that are just not going to have a good bull run or haven't participated. The facts are that most alts from last cycle or previous cycles historically do not outperform their last cycle all-time high. That's number one. And then number two, most alts die and just don't, and they just stay dead. And so you've got to be in the right alts. That's why I created the My Crypto cheat sheet. That's why I make these videos, because at the end of the day, if you're in an altcoin that's performing poorly against Bitcoin, it's better for you to have been in Bitcoin. The whole point of being an altcoin is because you feel it's going to outperform Bitcoin. Because otherwise, why wouldn't you just be in Bitcoin anyway? Because we're here to make money. We're here to make the most money. And sure, there's diversification. But at the end of the day, if that diversification leads us to an asset that is severely underperforming, then we have to look to reallocate and rotate into better investments, into better altcoins. I do plan on having a video out on July 4th at this point. I don't promise it, but I do plan on having it. For some reason I don't. I want to wish all of you here in the United States of America, a happy 4th of July. Have a blessed, safe time with your family. Have all of your buy and sell orders put in advance so that you can enjoy and just let things buy and sell without you having to do anything, so you can enjoy time with your friends and your family. And look, honestly, that's really how it should be anyway. Have all these things well prepared ahead in advance. So enjoy your July 4th, and until the next episode, happy trading.